It's been raining off and on all day here today. Made it very hard to do any sort of workout in the yard, but I'm going to try to give a bit of a verbal walking tour of the gardens and that around the yard. Update of how things are going so far. Here's our leaf lettuce. We've been picking at it now for quite a while. Doing good. And our tomatoes. We've got Sweet 100, Glamour, and Early Girl. They're in there a little thick, but we'll stake them up later on, and hopefully we won't have too much trouble with powdery mildew or anything like that. And there's our first set of green onions. They're just about ready to harvest. They were a single style green onion bulb as opposed to a multiplier that we normally plant. Had a hard time finding multipliers this year, but we got our hands on some that I'll show you here in a little later on. One of our multi-grafted apple trees, coming along nice. Starting to get some small apples. So we'll see how those mature. There we go. And we've got our tractor tire beds here. They've both got cucumbers in them, straight 8, this particular variety. Just starting to poke up through. They were a little later going in, but if they come up all right, shouldn't have any trouble with those producing. And we'll come back around to our snowball tree, which we had in some single shots earlier on in the season. It's out in full bloom now, although it does have a tendency to get a little buggy this time of year. Normally we would spray that with something like a diazolon or a myelthaline or something of that sort, but being that close to the lettuce, we didn't bother with it this year. We've got a little bit of garlic that we dug out of the garden up at the other place. Looking to transplant it. We move over here to our front of the house flower bed. Our lamium is on its second run. Was out solid in bloom early on this year, about a month ago in May. Now this coming up the second week of June, and it's just starting to bud out again. So another 2 or 3 weeks, that'll be solid purple once again. Real good perennial ground cover. After this, what we'll do is we'll cut that back by at least half, hit it with some fertilizer, and see if we get a third shot out of it. Red geraniums. It's a dark cardinal red. Yellow tuberous begonia there in a hanger. I don't know how well it's going to do. I've always had trouble with either too much water on tuberous begonias or too much sun. And our front flower bed here, done in a mix of impatiens, different colors. Watermelon, rose, blue pearl, orange, all the Super Elfton variety. Another planter, some verbena, colchicea, spike there in the center, but a geranium. It's only about 3 types of plants, but different colors to give it a bit of look, but looks like a lot of different things, but all the same care. Watering requirements and whatnot. Here's another one done similar. Some geraniums I've still got to get planted. Another dark red. And a pink. Kind of a violet pink. One of the columbine from my breeding program. This is a double white and purple cross. It's a really nice two-tone color on these. Very subtle, but really stands out, I think. Some iris planted in amongst our daffodil bed. Hopefully next year that'll give us some more color in this section. And we've got some hosta and a little Japanese maple poking out down there. It's a hydrangea. Need to take the deadwood off this guy yet, but I was waiting as long as possible to see how much of it will leaf out. But now we're starting to go into bloom, setting buds, so and clean it up. Some iris here in hosta, struggling a little bit under the eave here. It's a little on the dry side. It's a very neat colored speckled iris. Another dark one here getting ready to come out. A fire and ice hydrangea that we trimmed back hard this spring to try to make it a little more bushy. Then another Japanese maple to anchor the other end of the bed with hosta. And we've got our big long row here of hosta that you see in the video earlier on of us planting in the spring. And it's done quite well. Double row here, so it's just like a wall of foliage. And then single fresh row along here. Coming along nice. Shady, moist. Pretty much everything a hosta loves. Along the front flower bed, some of the planters, some of the flowers that we bought on our greenhouse hop. Fully double purple columbine. Another one that come out of our columbine breeding program. Started off with a dark, almost a burgundy purple, and a single columbine. So we end up with some are semi, some are single. It's a nice little semi and a fully double. Our red marigolds now turning more of a burnt orange color as they age, so we'll see how that goes over the course of the summer. Our pot dahlias. I apologize if there's a few speckles in this video there. It's starting to rain again. There's more of a burgundy columbine. The color is slight, but there is a difference. Comparing the two, you can see one's much more purpley blue and the other one's more burgundy. So it's kind of neat. Little changes you get from seed. Our main center flower bed here. We put some orange impatiens around the edge. Give it a little color later on. Good clumps of medium bearded iris there. Looks like most of them are going to come out in purple. We've got a little taller bearded iris that have already come out. They'll just be finishing when the medium bearded there start. So that'll be a good transition, although I do want to get some other colors over here, so maybe divide these purple ones up this fall in lieu of squeaking in some different colors. Perennial geraniums that I bought this year, tucked in there. And one that we bought last year, which is doing spectacular, which really led to the desire to purchase more. Hadn't done perennial geranium much in the past. These aren't a very big flower, but they just bloom like crazy and seem to be self-seeding. They're in quite an odd kind of a purple burgundy color. And this year we finally got some good English bluebells doing what they need to be doing. And of course you can't see them because they're buried around the center of the tree here. But it's a neat little surprise when you pay real close attention to the flower beds. Our lovage doing quite good since its move. Much happier here, starting to get up to its full size potential. Little white with lavender flush center bachelor button or mountain bullet. A small dwarf bearded iris there, the last of the run of them that we had there. There's a mole plant or cushion spurge. Gopher purge, many different names that it has. Solomon seal there, just starting to finish off. We've got an amazing deep red peony here in bloom. Really doing nice. 3 big buds on it. This is its 2nd year here since transplanting. It's really done well. Quite happy with that, and it seems to be quite happy. Nice pink lupin. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know we've got quite a collection of lupins here. Ornamental rhubarb, which I don't think's getting enough sun because the leaves should be a lot more of a burgundy tone. So not really being that ornamental, but something different nonetheless. And we've got the bed we were preparing this spring, redid it, cut it out and circled it around. The Rose of Sharon here are doing well. Northern Catalpa, all leafing out. Some nice hosta. Just transplanted some phlox in there, and some barnyard sunflower, Rebecca. We've got another perennial geranium we picked up on the greenhouse hop, a dwarf monarda, and some other hosta. And this bed will end up probably being a majority of hosta and similar condition plants, but we'll play it by ear as we always do, try different things. We transplanted one of our ferns in from the other flower bed there today, so very interested to see how that will do. We've had it for about 2 or 3 years and haven't done anything with it. It's just a nice little clump. Took the notion to divide it today, so we'll see how it does or does not like that. Some more different hostas. We tried these in pots, put them in these big cement planters last year, see what they would do. Seem to be doing okay. We've got more on this side of the driveway as well. A little stretching for light a little bit, I think, but we'll see how it goes later in the season as they get some age on them as well. Got a bunch of different hostas tucked in here and there, trying different things. Big blue elephant leaf one here, and some clematis getting ready to come out. They'll need to be cut back heavily this year because they're pretty much no foliage on the bottom at all, so need to do something from an aesthetics purpose there. Otherwise all our blooms are going to be up in this tree. And there's a wisteria up there too, but it's so far up the tree the camera will never zoom in on it. Don't have too much luck getting it to bloom, but want to get a hold of a few more and try them in different spots. It's another nice little mix of hostas here. A nice Japanese maple. And there's our fern we divided. A couple more hostas and another clematis starting to do its thing. Big leaf summon subsidence over here. Starting to rain a little harder now. We got a variegated Solomon seal. There's a very nice lamium. This is Archangel's Pride. doesn't spread aggressively like other Lamiums, and keeps the intense silver color much longer than any of the others. Very interested to see how that'll continue to go. Got a few of them here transplanted out to see what they'll do. The last remnants of our windflower just finishing up. We'll dig a few of those out, move around to some different spots in the garden and that, and then probably mow the rest down here to kind of clean it up. Another little, this one's a really pleated columbine, one of my favorite plants, as you can see. Really extra pleated there. Again, another one from our seed trials and collections. Variegated periwinkle. Some more hosta. And peonies getting ready to come out over here. These will be a taller light rose pink. And speaking of a rose, there's a old style shrub garden rose. And we'll just do a couple more little spots here in the garden. It's our allium, just about finished now, starting to go to seed. The flower's starting to fall off a little bit. This is the best year they've ever had here. It takes quite a long time for these guys to get established. And we've got a black currant there from one of our gardening friends, Antra. Still doing good. Another Japanese maple. Big blue hosta. Little green guy hiding around the corner, and a couple more underneath the cedar tree here I've got to move. Little blue guy there, and another big blue guy there. And we've got our multiplier onions, which are doing really good. We got some of these bulbs, bought about 8 packages of them at the Home Depot. One of the few places that could still find them in that. Hard to find them at all. Used to be able to buy them by the pound. That day's gone, it seems, but and then over to our last bed here for the tour today. This is another shade bed. Some more lovage, some hosta in there. This bed was all hosta at one time. We've reworked it in that, and it's majority going to be hosta again, and different shade plants. There's another Archangel Lamium, all out in bloom. Very nice. Great color. Silver practically. Really pops. It'd be nice to get some burgundy or red foliage up against that. And just finished blooming the last of our bleeding hearts. And that's it for our garden tour today.